thank you very much for joining this chat. VT Comfort is we've had a long history working for brokers, within a broker and as affiliates, and I want to share you a bit. In the last few years, the legal framework has changed a lot, and it's affected us a lot in our business, both in the call center and as an affiliate. And I just want to go a bit through the challenges that we've come across and that we're helping our partners with at the moment. I think most of you have heard about MiFID, which is European framework for a regulation framework that protect. Sorry. Yep, that was the first slide. It's a European regulatory framework that's aimed to protect the investors. For any financial institution, there's a lot more strict rules and a lot greater transparency in order to make all financial investments, bank accounts, international transfer, in order to make everything easier for the customer and to give them more protection. The biggest for Forex, the biggest change that we've seen, or the biggest crackdowns that we've seen, are tax evasion rules for the brokers, a crackdown on offshore brokers, and most importantly of all, the leverage changes that we've seen 2 years ago. Up until 2018, 2015, 2016, really. There was a big Wild West with brokers and with broker affiliates where everybody could. There's always been a lot of good brokers, but up until a few years ago, it was quite easy for gray brokers or offshore brokers to get away with whatever they wanted, really, and for affiliates. So it was quite easy to send traffic and to make a lot of money. Everybody was happy, but of course there was some consumers that obviously weren't so happy because some of they felt that the broker hadn't followed the rules, or they didn't understand all the regulations, or they tried to withdraw the money and they couldn't for various reasons. So because there's been more and more complaints, and because there had been so much abuse in the last few years, the national regulators like the FCA, SISEC, they've all come together in Europe, and they've made a very strict regulation called MiFID DOS, which came into being in 2018. I'll go through a few of the major changes. So the tax evasion rules, both for brokers and for clients and for affiliates, it was very easy to launder big amounts of money with brokers, especially the offshore brokers, and within Europe, SISEC didn't have a great regulation. That's become a lot more tight. SISEC, in fact, is one of the tightest European regulations now. Then next, there has been a crackdown on offshore brokers. Quite a few European countries have made it now illegal for offshore brokers, so brokers with a license in the BVI, Marshall Islands, Cayman Islands, Curacao, to make it illegal even to offer their services in here. So for affiliates, it would be easy to send traffic to these brokers, to the offshore brokers, but within Europe, they're making it a lot more difficult. So the affiliates are forced to send the European clients to properly regulated brokers, which of course benefits the client, and which of course makes it tougher for brokers, tougher for affiliates. These crackdown on offshore brokers, some of the easiest thing to do is certain European countries have just block automatically any credit card transactions. They make it very difficult to send large wire transfers. So it's just even if they wanted to open, sometimes it's very difficult for a client to open an account with an offshore broker, even if for them it would be it's more appealing to open with a broker, because an offshore investor, an offshore broker, they love to give away free money, free promises, lots of promises. But you have to stick with European ones. And then the biggest change that affected nearly all the investors and all the Forex traders is the leverage changes. Before you could get leverage within Europe of up to 800 to 1, meaning that if you invested €1, you could put 800 euros into the market, which was great if you were winning, but if you were losing 800 times more than you actually invested. So it was very easy for a client to suffer heavy losses. These have been reduced with all the European brokers to 30 to 1, making Forex trading much less appealing. For affiliates, for brokers, everything is more difficult, and for affiliates, of course, if the brokers are suffering and you can't send a European client to outside, or it's difficult to send European clients to outside the European Union, obviously it's a problem, because we had call centers for brokers, we had affiliation programs, and like suddenly the clients weren't so happy anymore to just go with any broker that we sent them to. You'd had to start tailoring it to everybody's need and making it as appealing as possible. Go to the next slide. 1 second. So I've just told you a bit about what the legal changes were, and now the direct consequences for affiliates is that for one of the biggest ones is that in the last few years, for European Union clients, you can only do CPA. So you get 100 euros, 500 euros, 200 euros, depending on the country, as a one-off fee, and that's it. So you'd have to, whereas before you could send clients and you could get volume based or revenue share based, and you could make 1,000, 10,000, 50,000 from one client. Those days are gone now for European clients. So you get a lot less money, and the lifespan for each broker is much shorter. It's a one-off payment and bye-bye. So that means that for affiliates, they have to start looking at targeting different markets, because before, the European market with the UK, Spain, Italy, Germany, Holland, the Scandinavian countries, it was one of the most lucrative. But now it's Middle East and Asia and some of the Pacific countries like Australia and New Zealand. So that's of course, that focus on different geos, of course, brings other challenges, which I'll talk about later. Next, if you're an affiliate that had their own retention center and that had their call center, suddenly everything became a lot more complicated, because you couldn't target certain countries from certain countries. You couldn't cold call. Also because of the GPR rules, you couldn't cold call. You couldn't say in the sales calls, you can't say certain words. You have to record every call. You have to let the calls be monitored in real time by the broker. There's a ton of regulations now that make it very difficult to have your call center. We've had a few shocks when the changes came, and we've had to adapt. But it was basically like starting again, starting from zero, and starting well in a much more difficult environment, and with higher startup costs. And the last, if you were an affiliate that was sending European customers to offshore brokers, it became difficult because of the challenges that I said earlier with the international banking and the credit cards, which make it more difficult, and also because customers are more savvy. because of the new regulations for finance, and every time you open a bank account, every time you try to send money, they ask you to fill out a few forms, to fill out a few papers. So people are more aware now what's happening with their money, where it's being sent to, and what the protection is that everything that a certain transaction or a certain financial institution is going to give you. And coupled with GDPR, now the customer also knows, hey, why are you calling me? Why are you sending me this email? If you're a European company, you have to make sure that everything is correct, because if you get a few GDPR fines, you can be crippled. So all of this makes it quite difficult to get started as a Forex affiliate, in terms of it, not in terms of the uncertainty. How long is it going to last? Is it going to change? Which countries can I target? Which promotions can I do? What can I offer? So I'm going to the last part is a bit about the solution that we found, and that we found for us, and that we also share with our partners. So the first solution that we did was, because we've always been based in Europe, because and we've always targeted European clients up until a few years ago, because it was easy. You had a lot of staff that spoke the European languages. So we've had to shift to new markets, which is the Middle East, Asia, the Pacific, and Canada. Some of those countries are quite challenging, because there's cultural differences, there's legal differences, and especially there's language differences. So you need to create all the know-how that you built up over the years, and you have to transfer it to a new set of staff. So that's been a challenge, but it's something that it's something that every affiliate has to do, and you have to do your homework, and you have to become a bit more international if you want to do casinos, if you want to do Forex. I'm sure whoever's doing it knows what I'm talking about. The second part is, especially if you have your own call center, you have to make sure that you're up to date with legislation. You have to have a good lawyer. You have to make sure that you're compliant with GDPR. Very, very important. That both for calls, for emails, for pop-up traffic, and then you have to know the cross-border financial regulation. You have to know which products can be targeted to which countries, and the legal differences between each country that you're targeting. So that's a whole. Well, as I said, that's cultural changes, language change. You have to be. It's a bit of an effort, but as you grow, you'll pick up all the different nuances of every country. If you have a call center, or you want to run a call center, you need, first of all, to have very strong ties with the broker that you're working with. You have to have all your legalities covered, because the broker, of course, loves to offload their problems to you. So you have to make sure that if any customer, you guys have ticked all the boxes. So with the call center, there's technical problems, because technical setup that you have to do in terms of making sure all the calls are recorded, all the emails are recorded. Train your staff very well to deal with the customer correctly and according to the broker guidelines. And you have to have, as I said, tight agency with the broker, or a very good understanding with the broker. So all of these things, they're they're not easy. They're not easy, but they are doable. And of course, if you run your own call center, or if you outsource it, the conversion rate is much higher than what the broker gives, because you know better who your clients are than the broker, and you know how best to target them. And the last bit, which isn't really related to Forex, but what I always tell our partners is that just like with casinos, the laws are changing. There's not one country in which the Forex or gambling regulation is going to become easier. So every country is going to get tighter and tighter. So you could keep changing, you could keep switching to different countries, but eventually you're going to run out of countries. So as an affiliate, I think, sorry. Apologize. I was looking at my face and I could only see half, so I was trying to move it. As an affiliate, what we recommend our partners, and what we've been doing as well, is diversify into different areas. There's a few. There's Nutra, there's crypto, there's adult. There's some affiliation programs where the legislation is much more straightforward and is already a bit more set, like an adult, or like in Nutra and CBD. Where the legislation is actually opening up, is becoming less strict, and then there's some other affiliation like crypto, where it's still a bit of a gray area, where everything still needs to be set in stone. So as an affiliate, I don't think you should be betting on one horse, because, as I said, Forex and gambling, you know that everything is changing all the time, and it's a bit of cat and mouse. You just have to stay ahead of the regulations. So while you're doing that, you might as well invest in other areas. It's what we've been doing. Forex is still the main part of our business, and it's still very lucrative, and we're hoping that it will be for many more years. And we're here to help. If anybody has a question, or if anybody is looking for a partner, we'll be more than welcome to share our expertise and maybe partner up. I am not sure of if this format allows for questions. So I'm hoping that somebody is going to help me out, because I've come to the end of my presentation.
Perfect.
Great.
Awesome. Dana, you want to go ahead?
Well, our first question in chat here, CPA Crab asks, are crypto Forex offers, do they fall under this law as well? Crypto.
Forex when you say crypto Forex, I guess you mean crypto trading. Crypto trading doesn't really fall under this law. In theory, all the financial institutions need to be compliant with. If you receive client money and you're in Europe, you need to comply with MiFID rules. I know there's a few loopholes within Europe, and there's a few countries where you can write to the regulator and say, hey, I'm going to offer crypto exchange or crypto trading. And here's the website. Is that okay? And they just say, yes, that's okay. But that's the current situation. But as with all good things, that shall pass as well.
Europe really seems to be becoming the what's the word I'm looking for? The moral compass for affiliate marketing, it seems, with their regulations that they've implemented everywhere from the UK right across the mainland. You spoke about these new regulations being a challenge for affiliates. Why do European brokers struggle to convert EU clients to the same level of brokers offshore? And what limits earnings to $800 a client exactly?
Can you, the first part of the question, what is it that limits the European broker, sorry?
Why do European brokers struggle to convert European clients to the same level of those offshore? What limits them or the payouts for the affiliate to $800 a client? And why is there a lack of visibility as well? That was mentioned in your slide.
Yeah, the lack of visibility the lack of visibility as some brokers or some regulators don't allow. I'm going to go by the parts. There was a very multi-layered question, so I'm going to go by the parts that I remember. In the reports, it's in some brokers' reports in some countries you can't see the trades that clients open. You can't see any interaction with the client, so you don't know. You send the client off and that's it. So you don't know. It's like a black hole, and then the only thing you can do is try and send that client to a different broker. But that's it. As far as the broker is concerned, when you send a client, that's it. He might deposit $200. He might deposit $200,000. You don't know. Why do Europeans brokers struggle so much to convert? Because it's not as appealing, the offering that they have with 30-to-1 leverage. If you compare it to most offshore, most global brokers, they offer up to 400 or 500 to 1 leverage. So if you start with 1,000 and you lose, you'll lose 1,000. But if you start with 1,000 and you win, then you could make a lot more money with a broker outside Europe. I know there was some other parts of your.
No, you know what, Tim? I think you covered a lot of it right there with your answer. To follow up on that, do you see other regions following suit and localizing their Forex brokerage business, or applying greater restrictions for that matter? And with that, is your outlook on the Forex business a bleak one, or is it one of optimism?
I think there will always be. I think there will, just like there will always be adult gambling. There will always be Forex as well. However, it will be. I think more and more countries will do away with the high leverage, with the misleading promotions. Get $5,000 for free if you deposit, and then you find out that you have to deposit at least another 20,000, and then if you want to take your money out, or if you want to take out any winnings, so suddenly they were like the winnings that you have are tied to the deposit, and you have to trade another 500,000 times before you can take the money out. By which times odds are that you will lose. So I think more and more countries. I know the Pacific is the New Zealand, Australia, Canada. They're looking at lowering the leverage as well. And obviously, it's hard to say what every country will do. But I don't think any country will make it. I don't think any country will make it easier or will make the legislation more lax. It will always be more strict.
We got a question in the chat, Tim. What do you think about Forex and crypto in the Middle East in terms of conversions?
Well, Forex in the Middle East is very big, and I think in the Middle East because Forex allows you to trade oil and gold. Oil and gold, they are. Sorry, I can hear myself. Forex and gold are the biggest in the Middle East. I'm sorry, I'm hearing a very big echo. Middle East, Forex and gold are the biggest draws. So if you invest if you can offer that, it's interesting for them. Crypto is in certain Middle Eastern countries is outlawed. So even if you can't always offer cryptocurrency as a CFD.
Another
Guys,
question came in regarding the Middle East, Tim.
I'm hearing a lot of echo. I don't know if there's anything you can do about it.
Cool. Another question came in regarding the Middle East, and they asked, do you expect regulation tightening in the Middle East?
It's the same. It's the same as the answer before. There's not going to be a loosening of regulation. I think there's quite a few brokers, important brokers that are based in Jordan and in the Emirates, and I think they still have they still hold a lot of sway. So I don't expect it to be in the next few years, but I think eventually it's going to be difficult for any broker to have such a high risk product, because the higher the leverage, obviously the higher the risk.
In the Forex market, Tim, because you are operating internationally so often with your sales, especially with some of the markets that you noted on your presentation, would you recommend hiring a local copywriter for affiliates, or does the product sort of speak for itself? Can you get by without taking that step?
You can send a lot of, the very basics are in English. Make $1,000, win a kilo of gold. It translates well. It translates well in any country. Mm-hmm. But if you want to Forex can be quite. It's a bit of a technical, like there's a bit of technical knowledge that you need. So we always find that the more you can do in the local language, the better. Like we've tried different countries and then just targeting them in English, but we find in the end it's like big markets like Russia, Malaysia, Thailand, even where a lot of people speak, even where a lot of people are supposed to speak, Germany, we're supposed to speak pretty good English. We still find that there's a bit of like the conversion is much lower if you don't do it in the original language.
Great. Well, I think that's everything we've got from the chat, everything I have myself as well. So we want to thank you today, Tim, for your presentation and your knowledge on the Forex market. We really appreciate that.
If people want to get in touch with you, Tim, what's the best way to do that?
I think in the presentation is my email. That's the same email on Skype. You can call me. You can send me WhatsApp. Whatever. I have my phone on all the time. So. Whenever you want, just get in touch.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Tim. Thanks for your time.